is TikTok finally getting banned? Now, I'm sure if you've been on TikTok or even just the internet over the course of probably the past 2 years, you've heard this question thrown around probably more times than you can count. At this point, it's like twice a year that I'll hear news that they're trying to ban TikTok again. And I haven't had TikTok since it first released, but I feel like people have been talking about TikTok getting shut down since its release. But out of all the times that different things have been getting tossed around about them finally banning TikTok, it seems like this time they might actually be trying to get something done. Now, before I even get into all of this, I want to start by mentioning that I'm not a political person whatsoever, so a lot of the stuff that's being talked about with the different parties and everything, I'm not exactly too sure everything what's going on with them, nor all the different branches and what they're capable and in control of, so I'm just pretty much gonna give you the information how I see it and just try to make it as easy as possible to break down. So getting into it, the reason that I say this time holds a bit more weight than usual is because recently a House committee held a vote and they voted 50-0 to pretty much either have TikTok sell their company to a US owner or just shut it down. I'm gonna go ahead and read this article here because I think it explains it a bit better than I can. But it says a key House committee voted unanimously Thursday afternoon to advance bipartisan legislation that would force ByteDance, TikTok's Chinese parent company, to divest its ownership of the app within 165 days. The highly unusual 50-0 vote in the House Energy and Commerce Committee, which unveiled the bill 2 days ago alongside the China Select Committee, reflected the level of anger among some members about TikTok's pressure campaign. I also wanted to bring up the name that it looks like they're going to be giving this bill or whatever it is, and it's called the Protecting Americans from Foreign Adversary Controlled Applications Act. Now, like I said before, I'm not a political person whatsoever, but it looks like they always do this. They always try to push some wacky bill or something that usually the general public doesn't want, and they always try to cover it up and make it look much better than it is by giving it some sort of super noble name, like protecting the Americans from foreign adversaries. Like, what are you guys talking about, man? That's not what's going on here at all. You're trying to make it sound better than it is. Now, I'm also not going to try to sit here and tell you whether TikTok is good or bad. I'll give you my opinion on that a bit later in the video, but that's ultimately up to you to decide whether you think the app and the companies are good or bad. And also, speaking on the topic of voting, I just wanted to quickly show you guys a video and ask you the question of, do you think these are the people that should really be making decisions for a country's people and its future?
For the Department of Defense, and it funds priorities submitted.
Yeah, just say aye.
Okay, just aye.
Now, there was no wrong answer there, and I just want to see what you guys thought. So if you did answer yes, this is someone that should be making decisions for our future, you're wrong. Now, I know this is a bit off topic, but I swear the requirement to get into basically any political power ever is you have to be at least 60 years old and either already senile or bordering senile. These are the type of people making decisions about modern apps that have been created in the last couple years. I don't even trust these people making decisions for themselves. And that's not being mean to them, but it's just that things like that happen with old age. I'm certain that 90% of these people wouldn't know how to turn the flashlight off on their phone if it came on. They'd either have to have someone around them help them, or they'd be calling their grandchildren, hey, there's this light on my mobile device, I've been clicking around and pop-ups and been how do I turn this off? But yeah, that was just a bit of a side tangent about how old these politicians are. But moving on, it seems like the main reason that they're claiming that they want TikTok either sold off or banned is because they collect, use, and sell Americans' user data. It seems like they also don't want, I guess, a foreign adversary to have that much potential influence over their country's people. They're pretty much saying that there's nothing stopping TikTok from altering the types of videos that you see. So if they did want to play a role in like altering votes for an election or something, they could suppress certain content while pushing other content. Now, after knowing this information, I'm gonna go ahead and toss out a steaming hot take that it is what it is. It seems like the only reason that they're really mad about this is because it's a Chinese company taking and using people's information rather than them. Because I'm sure it's a secret to literally nobody that literally every company ever takes your information and sells it or does whatever they want with it pretty much, and the only problem here is that the US isn't getting access to that information. And I really say it is what it is, because the end result for me doesn't change whatsoever. As your average user, if I'm gonna get my information stolen regardless, I don't necessarily care as much who's stealing it, because they're all gonna just take it, sell it, and do the same things with it. So it doesn't really matter to me. Regardless, I'm probably seeing skewed content anyway. I'm seeing targeted ads, so it doesn't really matter who has it. They're gonna take it regardless. But going back to the voting situation, it seems like this isn't the end-all be-all yet. Like I said, I'm not really into politics at all, but it looks like the vote has to go through like 2 or 3 more stages. It looks like it's gonna have to end up going through the Senate, where they pretty much all have to vote on it, and then it gets escalated to the president, where he also has a chance to decline or accept it as well. So when it comes down to it, even though this is pretty much the biggest movement we've probably seen in TikTok actually getting banned, I still honestly think that there's little to no chance that it actually gets banned. But even with the super low chance of it actually going through, TikTok has been super active in their response to this entire situation. Starting with their Twitter post, it says, "Our statement on today's committee vote. The legislation has a predetermined outcome, a total ban of TikTok in the United States. The government is attempting to strip 170 million Americans of their constitutional right to free expression. This will damage millions of businesses, deny artists an audience, and destroy the livelihoods of countless creators across the country." Now, this post might seem like a bit of an over-exaggeration, but it really truly isn't. At this stage in their app, TikTok really isn't even just a little wacky social media app anymore. For a ton of people, creators, and even companies, it's a business. There are a ton of people that have their entire career set up based around TikTok, so if it were to shut down, I'm sure a ton of people would be out of work, and like, what would they have to do next? Go to Instagram Reels? Or God forbid, YouTube Shorts. And I'm kind of sorry for those of you that caught a stray there that actually use YouTube Shorts. It's just that 90% of the genuine brain rot content I see all comes from YouTube Shorts. But like I was saying, TikTok is really just a business for a ton of people, especially with the inclusion of TikTok Shop recently. Literally like every 3 or 4 videos I scroll, it's someone advertising something through TikTok Shop. This also isn't where TikTok's response stopped. They've also been sending a ton of people actual in-app messages, giving them the information they need and pretty much encouraging them to go call and talk to their local Congress members to pretty much stop this change. And for pretty much any other app ever, this just sounds like some wacky thing that they try to push on the people. Hey guys, this bill that high chance you probably don't even care about, they're trying to push it, so could you guys maybe message your local congressperson and help us out? And usually messages and posts like these are completely ignored, but what surprised me the most this time is the people's response to this. So not only have people actually been calling their local Congress members to disagree with this change, but they've actually been getting so many calls that they had to temporarily disable the line. So honestly, by this alone, you can see what the public thinks of this. Majority of people clearly want to keep TikTok. They see some benefit from it. And like I said before, this is truly surprising because nowadays it seems like people will basically stand for nothing at all, and out of everything to get people to rally and actually try to call their local Congress members, it looks like them genuinely looking to shut down TikTok was pushing it a bit too far over that border. But on the slight off chance that TikTok does get banned, I wonder how the process of actually enforcing the ban will go. It looks like it's kind of explained in the actual bill or act or whatever it's called, so I'm gonna go ahead and read a bit of that off, but it says it shall be unlawful for an entity to distribute, maintain, or update, or enable the distribution, maintenance, or updating of a foreign adversary-controlled application by carrying out, within the land or maritime borders of the United States, any of the following: providing services to distribute, maintain, or update such foreign adversary-controlled application, including any source code of such application, by means of a marketplace, including an online mobile application store, through which users within the land or maritime borders of the United States may access, maintain, or update such application. Now, like we've seen from that, it looks like it's clearly stated that it'd be banned from some obvious things like the Google Play Store and the App Store, but I was also watching Mudahar's video on this topic, and he basically said that if it was banned, it looks like it could end up being another situation like when Fortnite was banned, where you could basically just go and offload it from somewhere else. Like for Android phones, you could go to the Epic Games site and directly download the APK from there and still play a technically banned app. Like he also says in his video though, the only other route to go about this to pretty much truly ban it would be to go directly through the internet service providers and ban all access to that app from there, which pretty much has never happened ever before, and I'm sure a ton of people would have a much bigger problem with that, considering they're heavily restricting your access to something by directly going through your internet service provider to ban something. But with the way that things are looking right now, I truly don't think the app is going to get banned. I really think that they're just doing this to put pressure on TikTok and see how they'll react, and really, honestly, the only thing that'll probably come out of this is in another 7 months we'll see more posts talking about is TikTok getting banned, and of course it'll probably be the same song and dance of, oh, they made slightly more progress than last time, but it's still not gonna get banned. But with that said, if you did make it this far in the video, you most likely had to like something, so make sure to drop a subscribe. We're coming up on 500 soon, so it'd be greatly appreciated. And with that said, that's pretty much all I got for you guys today, and I'll catch you in the next one.